In this video, I will share with you how you can calibrate your forearm balance kick. The purpose of this drill is for your body to learn how much or how little, if you want, you should kick in order to bring yourself into a forearm balance. And I need to emphasize how important it is to consistently perform this drill until you have understood, until your body knows and has become second nature to kick every time in the same amount. So the drill will be broken down into 5 parts, and the first 4 will have to do with the setup. I consider them to be very important, which is why I will dedicate 4 points in how to set your body up and only 1 describing the kick. Let's come to the first one, and it has to do with the position of the forearms. It's common sense that if it is a forearm balance, what we are coming towards, that the positioning of the forearms will be important. I suggest you place your forearms parallel and as wide as your shoulders. And this is for the reason that we want to activate the rotator cuffs. I want you to be positioned not very far or too close to the wall, as too far or too close is very hard. If in doubt, move quite close to the wall and then you can slowly adjust. But don't think that too close to the wall it's easier. The exact distance from the wall will depend on a couple of parameters, including your height as well as your flexibility. So people that are less flexible most likely will have to come a bit closer. And flexibility, I'm using this term very general, but it really has to do with flexibility on many muscles, including the shoulder joint, hip flexors. So I have found in practice most people intuitively position themselves in the right distance from the wall after the second attempt. So like I said, if in doubt, start quite close and then adjust away. The legs I suggest are 1 bent and 1 straight and lifted. Try to keep the leg that is lifted as straight as possible so that it behaves as one piece. What happens a lot of the times is when people kick up, because of their fear of falling over, they bend the lifted leg, and as a result, whatever kick they have given with the lower leg, it is lost. The more straight the lifted leg is, the easier it will be for you to come upside down. Try to use your flexibility. So if you have open hip flexors, lift the leg as much as possible. Don't worry if the shoulders are shifted a little bit more forward than the straight line that I believe you should be practicing in a dolphin. Coming to the 4th point, the breath. Once you have set up the body into this 3-legged dolphin, I will want you to inhale, hold your breath, and from there kick. The aim is to touch the wall that is in front of you with either your big toe or with the ball of the foot. You want to touch the wall only with one leg, which is the leg that you have initially lifted. And once your foot touches the wall, you want to hold there for 3 seconds. And during these 3 seconds, the other leg will not be moving, but will be locked and will be not at the wall. The only thing moving at this stage, ideally, is the shoulders that are lifting up. Once this is achieved for 3 seconds, then you can try to come down in as a controlled version as possible. Probably the easiest way for beginners is to bend the second leg, the one that was initially on the floor, and bring it first on the floor. Let's look at a couple of questions that often come up when people start practicing this drill. The first question is, should I alternate and kick each time with a different leg? From my experience, if you decide to alternate and each time kick with a different leg, the learning process will be slower. So if you want to learn to forearm balance and not necessarily aiming to keep your body balanced, then I suggest you keep kicking with the same side. But ultimately this can cause some imbalance because obviously the muscles on one side are firing in a different way than the other. So I leave it up to you. The second question is, can someone use props to help them with this drill? And the answer is yes. I'm not a big fan of props, but they have their purpose. If you want to use props, I suggest you place a block or two, depending on how big the blocks that you have are, in between your thumb and index finger. And try to have the base of the index finger pressing on the floor if possible. As an additional prop, you can use a strap just above the elbows, which will maintain the elbows shoulder distance and prevent them from moving out. I suggest that you work towards more advanced drills only once you have 7 to 8 successful attempts for 3 sets in this one. And by successful, I mean the way I described them. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, please leave them on the comments. And if you want any feedback on your own forearm balance kick calibration drill, send me a direct message.